where do we go here with these stats? I asked you the same question yesterday, and I tell you where my curiosity is, as I was just saying before we went to break, is like some others. I don't want to call them dark horses. I think it's so unfair when you're talking about a limited field of people that get into the Masters. I know there's favorites. I'll grant you that. But I don't know. Dark horses makes it sound like some guy, walked in off the street and got a tee time. So where would you, let me throw it to you broad brush. Where would you like to start?
Andrew, I want you to start with the notable graphic that's got everything on it, because I think it's a good precursor to the discussion. Andrew's trying to find it. There's so much stuff in there. We've collected so much stuff. Have built so many graphics.
Yeah.
And we also have the odds. Yeah. He's still looking for it. But basically what it lists is the trends that I found on Data Golf that are fascinating, that are interesting with regards to who's playing good right now, who's not playing good right now. It's got the best putters that are playing right now on the tour. And again, those guys are playing in the Masters. And why don't you put up, well, he's trying to do it now. Andrew, put up Sepp Straka, because that's what Matt was asking about earlier anyway.
Yeah.
We've got so much stuff. There's plenty of stuff to go through.
Okay.
Here.
So Sepp Straka.
So the stats that I put together very quickly again. True strokes gained is a number from Data Golf that is a little bit more accurate than what we would normally get from the PGA Tour. So it's a better representation globally of how a player is playing. It includes Live Golf stats. It includes DP World Tour stats, et cetera, et cetera. I also looked at how players played in the Masters in their last, you can see there at Sepp Straka has only had 3 starts, but I was looking traditionally at the last 4 starts that players had at the Masters and how they played overall and how they putted specifically. And then,
which, by the way, just to your point, I was wrong on Midwoo Lee when I quickly read his thing. He has starts at the Masters. He has top 25 at least.
We can go over it. There's a lot to go over. But
well, let's go, Sepp. Go ahead.
Your man, Sepp Straka, again, at the bottom, the last 2 stats that you see on the screen there,
yep.
You've got how a player is playing right now, what I would call their hot statistic. Are they on fire or not? And then the pressure tool, which tells you when they're coming into the final round as defined by this year, how are they playing? And you can see, of all the people we're going through, I think I did profiles, Matt, on 15, 16, 17 guys. Of all the people we did profiles on, only 3 or 4 of them were positive strokes gained, true strokes gained in every category you're looking at on this screen.
Really?
Sepp Straka is one of those players.
Yeah, his true strokes gained total, he's 7th for the year. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, he's positive in everything. He's positive in all of it.
All right.
He's playing almost a half a stroke better.
What about Brooks? We haven't talked about Brooks yet. 5-time major champion. Won the U.S. Open, of course, of 17 and 18.
Yeah, we got
won the 18, 19,
Andrew,
and 23 PGA. 9 PGA Tour wins, 5 Live Golf Tour wins, 11 Masters starts with 6 top 5s, 2 third-place finishes, 2 runner-up finishes at the Masters. True strokes gained total, positive .99. Call it a stroke. That's 15th on Live. True strokes gained putting, 23rd on Live, which you're going to have to explain to me how these true strokes gained. I thought it was a comparison across the game of golf. Somehow they devised it so you could do it regardless of what league you were in. But this is on Live specifically.
That's how they get the true strokes gained number, is you can compare and contrast across tours, and then they list based on where your tour is.
Okay.
You sound unconvinced and
yeah,
confused.
that didn't really make any sense at all, but okay. The last 4 Masters true strokes gained total plus 6-1. Last 4 Masters true strokes gained putting minus .28. Trend table minus .21. Interesting. And the pressure tool, as you'd expect from Brooks Koepka, is positive 1.4. Comments on Brooks?
I mean, to me, the fact that he's not playing well, specifically with Brooks Koepka, doesn't bother me. Because as you can see there at the top there, 5-time major champion, he is notorious. He's only got 9 wins, 5 of those are majors. He's notorious for only caring, and if you watch the Netflix documentary, he's even said as much. he's notorious for only caring in major championship. He can't find himself in a position on any of the tours that he's played on really caring that much. He can't get locked in because it's not a major. It doesn't feel like it matters to him. And all he cares about is major championships. He spoke about that, Matt, on Full Swing, on camera, and basically said, I don't care about any of this other crap. I just want to win major championships. So with that in mind, in his case specifically, Matt, the trend table doesn't really bother me that much. Is that fair?
Yeah. All right, let's see another one that's on another end of the spectrum, but maybe it's another player that you're like, well, current form, which is so critically important in these conversations, maybe current form doesn't matter as much because you don't know what voices he's listening to in his head, but Jordan Spieth. Jordan, as you guys know, he's 3-time major champ. He's won 13 times on tour. He has had 9 Masters starts, 3 top 10s, including 2 runner-up finishes, 19 and 20. Of course, he won the Masters in 15. All right, 2025 true strokes gained total of plus 1.02. That's 35th. That's very good. 2025 true strokes gained putting is plus 0.26, 57th, which is about where he tends to live. Last 4 Masters, true strokes gained total plus 1.07, slightly better than his average coming into the season, but I can guarantee you that was better than, because that's based upon past. In the past, he wasn't coming in with his true strokes gained. That was equivalent to it, basically. So he's actually in a better position. Last 4 Masters, true strokes gained putting, negative 0.25, about a quarter of a point, which would amount to just over 1 stroke over the course of 4 rounds. Trend table, true strokes gained versus baseline, he's positive 6.66. So almost 2/3 of a stroke in the last 20 rounds, which is pretty good for Jordan Spieth. So all told, even though he's like become Jordan, like become classic with all this stuff, that actually is, I'd say pretty good for Jordan Spieth coming into the Masters.
It's very good. Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of these guys that I was building little profiles for, I was sort of surprised when I was slowly gathering the intel and the information on these guys. I was like, wow, there are some guys that I was anticipating doing worse that are doing better than I thought, and vice versa. Let me give you another name, Andrew. Can you bring up Min-Woo Lee's stats?
I was going to go Justin Thomas because we just talked about, but go ahead.
We can go to Justin Thomas.
Well, the only reason is because you're talking about Jordan Spieth. It seems like they're always tethered together.
Well, let's until we don't have to. I mean, Andrew's going to make us tether them together. Do you see this?
Yeah. He's a director. That's what he does. He directs. Justin Thomas, of course, a couple of major championships to his credit. 15 PGA Tour wins. 2 more than his friend Jordan. In your face. 9 Masters starts, 6 top 25s, and 1 top 5. His 2025 true strokes gained total is plus 1.55. That is 5th. Current form matters. 2025 true strokes gained putting, positive. He's 33rd. Last 4 Masters, true strokes gained total plus 0.63. Last 4 true strokes gained putting, minus 0.4. So his trend table versus baseline of his last 20 rounds is plus 4.4, which has to mean when I'm reading that, Dom, in the last 20 rounds, he's come off the boil a tiny bit compared to where he was, because his true strokes gained total for the season is 0.155. But nonetheless, it's still good. The pressure tool, true strokes gained, is plus 2.5.
Which is a massive number.
It's huge. It's huge. So,
but the issue that I see with a lot of these players, and you heard Stuart Appleby talking about it, course knowledge, course experience, is if you look at the true strokes gained putting number in their last 4 Masters for most of these players, most of these profiles that I did, a lot of them are in the negative, on average, in true strokes gained putting at Augusta National. With past experience. Not a lot of them were in the positive, and very few of them were more than a half a shot, like plus 0.5.
What about
in putting.
Xander? We'll get to Min Woo if said. What about Xander Schauffele? Because I saw comments he made yesterday. They were like, "Hey, you're not really playing that well coming off the rib injury," and everybody's kind of like discounting you. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm hearing all that talk. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, obviously. I'm hearing all that talk, but me and my team, they're all telling me I can win." And I'm here, and let's see what happens. A couple major championships last year, as you know, the PGA and the Open. 9 wins overall in the PGA Tour. 7 Masters starts, 4 top 10s. He has a third. He has a runner-up. 25 true strokes gained total, plus 2-1, 94th. Meh. 2025 true strokes gained putting, 160th. He's ranked. Ugh. Last 4 Masters true strokes gained total, though, there's another one of those, as Dom calls it, massive number. 1.87. That's strokes, folks, per round. Last 4 Masters true strokes gained putting, positive 0.17. But that's the past. Currently, his putting is horrible. Trend table, true strokes gained versus baseline, negative almost 2. Whoa. Pressure tool, true strokes gained, plus 2.9, entering final round in 2025. Only 2 events due to the injury. Okay. That's not too good with Xander Schauffele.
Yeah, so again, I don't know how you balance, right, Matt? How do you balance Masters experience with everything else on that profile that's negative?
I mean, he's a multiple-time major champion.
At the Masters, he traditionally plays well, but right now everything else is saying he's playing absolutely awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like 2 shots around worse than he would normally be playing.
Right. And there is the chance, we have seen it. Gosh, we've seen it this season. Victor Hovland came in off 3 missed cuts and won the Valspar. Right? So it is possible that a player gets reacquainted with themselves. I think that happened in Houston with Scottie Scheffler. I think Scottie Scheffler became Scottie Scheffler again at Houston. He lost by 1 shot to Min Woo Lee. Min Woo Lee.
So can I?
Yes.
Well, hold on. I want to talk about 2 players, and I want to ask Matt 2 questions, one for each player.
Okay.
Okay. Show me Min Woo Lee, Andrew.
That's where I was just going to go.
I know that, but don't relax. Everybody relax. So Min Woo Lee is one of the handful of guys of the profiles that I've been talking about doing that is positive in everything. And of all the profiles I did, Matt, the next 2 guys I'm showing you, this guy, Min Woo Lee, and the next one, have the highest putting true strokes gained at Augusta of the entire group.
Yes.
So Min Woo Lee right here, you see he's almost a full stroke gained putting when he plays Augusta. And he's 3rd right now on tour in putting currently.
Yep.
And he's also playing a half a shot better, more than a half a shot better than he would normally be playing. And he literally is coming off his very first win. So he's a newbie, but he's not a newbie. The question is, with all of those stats in front of you, all the positive, he's literally at the top of the list in almost all of these categories right now. Literally. Yeah. Is that enough?
Yes.
Or is the lack of experience, it doesn't matter?
No, it's enough. And he's got enough experience to know where to hit the ball. It's very good. And he's got.
So you think,
Bo
Andrew,
Martin
show
is
me
a
the
veteran
odds.
caddy. That's what you didn't have in there. You should have it in intangible lines.
So Min Woo Lee is.
His odds aren't going to be incredible because he just won. So he's 40-1 coming into the week.
I mean, that's a pretty good bet right now based on what we're looking at and what we're talking about.
If he's still 40-1. These are coming into the week. What's he currently?
40. No, what do you mean? It doesn't change. This is from yesterday.
Yeah, it could change.
It's not going to change. I'll show you.
All right.
Stand by. Stand by while I prove you wrong.
Buffering.
Min Woo Lee's 50-1. His odds got worse.
His odds are going to go down now since you're talking about him. You're really sticking it to a lot of people
Min Woo
right
Lee
now.
Right now. I'm liking Min Woo Lee as Andrew's making live adjustments to the odds. Andrew, I want you to put the next player up. That is an interesting player to me.
Min Woo Lee, 100%. Yes.
When you look at that, before we move to the next player, you can leave the odds up, Andrew. Before we move to the next guy that I want to talk about, is what I just read there from Min Woo Lee surprising? Where you're like, whoa, I didn't think he was. It's not surprising.
It didn't surprise me because remember, I was following him every single shot at the Houston Open. I saw what he was doing. What the intangible with Min Woo Lee is confidence. Min Woo Lee
he's got that now in spades.
But he always had it. Min Woo Lee has a bravado. He has a swagger that he carries himself. He is not consumed by the moment. Now, someone could take me to task on that and say, whoa, whoa, whoa. You telling me at 16 that when he blocked that thing into the lake, that wasn't about nerves? No, I don't deny that. That was 100% about nerves. But he got through that and he won. So Min Woo Lee has a tendency to be a bit wild. That's not a stat you had on here. His true strokes gained total, he's 10th. But if you had a line in here on his driving, you wouldn't see as good a stat. However, you're talking about Augusta National. No real rough to speak of, as long as you don't hit it too far in the woods. But even there, you can recover. So, yeah, I like Min Woo a lot. And
so here's the next guy.
And 50-1, I like him even more.
Here's the next guy, Andrew. Put up Will Zalatoris.
Will Zalatoris.
Very interesting here, okay? If you, again, one of, I think, only 3 guys
Hold
or
on
4
a second. Let me just say for people who are listeners or radio side, Will Zalatoris, he's won one time on the PGA Tour. He started the Masters 3 times. All of them were top 10s, including a runner-up in 21. His true strokes gained total for 2025 is plus 1.26. That's 25th. Very good. His true strokes gained putting is negative 0.12, 128th. Blah. Last 3 Masters true strokes gained total plus 3.12. Are you kidding me? And then his last 3 true strokes gained putting plus 0.81, which defies his current form with the putter in hand. The long one, as it were. Trend table, true strokes gained versus baseline, he is positive, 0.45, almost half a stroke. That's huge. That's just under 2 strokes in a tournament. The pressure tools true strokes gained plus 1.0 entering the final round in 2025. All right, so what observation did you want to make about Will Zalatoris? Is it another one like, can you do it?
2 observations. One, out of all the profiles that I did for all the guys, Will Zalatoris has the best putting numbers at the Masters.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Which is
Scheffler,
crazy because his putting...
Rory, Spieth, all of them.
Yeah, it's crazy because you look at what he's doing in this year.
That is the confusion, right? Is it horses for courses? Does he know something about Augusta, or is there something in his veins that matches up where he just putts out of his mind at Augusta? Because if you look at this profile and you see that putting number this year on tour at 128th, and you go, ugh. If that's his weakness, if that's the weak point, but for some reason or another, that's not a weak point but a strength at Augusta, how does he not win?
For a guy that was runner-up in 2021, for a guy that has the tools that he has, right? The way he hits, all the rest, then he has the back surgery and all the... He almost strikes me as like the beach boy nice guy Brooks Koepka, right? And at some point, does he go on a tear and basically win everything because he's got the skills to do it? Or will Will Zalatoris just be a guy that we look at and went, well, we expected more from him? But if you're asking me the same thing as Min Woo, like if you had set this question up and said, you got to take one or the other, can't take both, which one? It'd be Min Woo for me, because 128th in current form putting is not a good indicator. And the only way that could be mitigated in terms of an argument against would be if you came in and said, wait a minute, I did his true strokes gained putting for the last 5 seasons, and even though let's do 4 because that's what you have, or last 3. I correct myself that you have
in your 3 Masters, so that's why.
But what I'm saying is, you do that with this sheet. You have last 3. If we did it with the last 3 seasons to this point, and he was also 160th, 120th, 150th, 80th negative ratings, negative true strokes gain number, then I'd say, yeah, there's something to that. But I have a suspicion, Dom, that's not what's going on here. I have a suspicion that his last 3 Masters true strokes gained putting where he's .81, that he was pretty good coming in, or pretty close to something under 50 anyway in terms of ranking, pretty close to that number average that you're showing me. I'm not sure he's there right now. So for me, if again, I'm not trying to frame your question, but Min Woo over Will.
Anything to the, because I know Spieth has said this publicly before. You think there's anything to the adage that players that are mechanical in nature, whether it's putting or with their swing, have to let go of that notion when they play Augusta, because you have no choice but to be creative and you can't be thinking mechanics. And that tends to open things up for players who are overly mechanical, like Jordan Spieth, who's consistently played well at the Masters, who always says, I'm not thinking about my stroke when I'm at Augusta because I got too many other things going on. I just have to be creative with it.
Yeah, I think I've said this many times with Jordan, when the putter becomes a brush instead of a hammer, then he starts to become the artist Jordan that we watched win those 3 major championships. I'm not as convinced of that, honestly, as I used to be, because I think Jordan's getting in his own head more and more and more. But I think if there's a place where he can just let it flow and start to play golf instead of play shots, then I think that he's very much a player to keep an eye on, as we know, as we've seen. There's no revelation.
Andrew, can you put up the overall arching thing that I was talking about? There we go. Before we move on, Matt, I wanted to show this because, again, I think this is interesting. So the DG World Rankings are the Data Golf Guys World Rankings, which takes into account everything. And you can see there, taking that into account, you've got DeChambeau at 10th and Jon Rahm at 4th in the world, which is interesting. So I don't know what kind of stock we put in that. Also, if you look at the trend table that we've been talking about in all these guys' profiles, those 3 guys are in the field at Augusta, and they are basically playing the best golf right now in the world.
Over what period?
According to what they normally do. I mean, you can see Berger's playing more than a shot and a half per round better than you would expect him to. When you look at that top little corner and you see that trend table with Daniel Berger, do you look at that and go, well, that's interesting?
All right, let's take this. Let's connect the dots here then. What's Daniel Berger's odds right now?
I don't know. Andrew, put the odds up.
I'd like to know the odds for. Do you have Daniel Berger on? I remember seeing that yesterday.
He might not even be listed. Hold on, let me check.
Yeah, come on.
Let me check the sheet.
But I'm gonna want to know Joe Highsmith too.
125 to 1.
That'd be worth
Daniel Berger.
I'm not saying talk to your guy, but I'm saying, what about
Highsmith is 300 to 1.
Yeah, baby.
And Michael Kim is 150
now,
to 1.
When
we're talking about some real.
these are for wins, but you can also do top tens. What was Michael again?
Michael is 150 to 1.
Wow.
Michael Kim. And these are, again, 2nd, 6th, and 10th. Those are not tour specific. That is World Tour. So if these are this is from a list of the best 200 players in the world in terms of how they're trending versus what you would expect right now in the last 20 rounds of golf globally. And you can see in the top 10 in the world, 3 of them are in the Masters. And that's the list right there. Those are from the top 10. Those are the best 10 players in the world right now versus what you would expect. Those 3 guys are on that list. That's really interesting. And then the list below that, you can see, Matt, the best 3 putters right now in the world are all in the Masters. And you can see there's Min Woo Lee's name at
and Nico too. Nico's
Nico, yep.
Was Nico on your stats or?
I didn't do a profile for him.
No, your odds. I'm sorry, your odds.
Oh yeah, hold on, I can get you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he's on the. He's 400 to 1.
Nico.
And then that note at the bottom I thought was interesting. Rory McIlroy is the only player in the top 20 in all 4 of the major true strokes gained categories.
All right, but
in other words, he's the only one that doesn't have a glaring weakness.
Right. And then the Data Golf World Rankings are interesting too. I know you mentioned this already, but it is interesting. Scotty's number 1 and Rory's number 2, Collin's number 3. Jon Rahm is number 4. Then it goes Justin Thomas, Russell, Henley. Shane Lowry, Xander Schauffele, and Patrick Cantlay, and then Bryson DeChambeau at number 10. Did you do a profile on Bryson? Did I see that?
I did. Would you like to see it?
Yeah, that I would like to see, yeah.
Now, he is one of the guys that, as Andrew is getting that Bryson DeChambeau one up, he is one of the ones that I was surprised at negatively. I was like, oh.
All right, let's go through this for you guys that are
doing as well as I thought he was doing.
Again, you can see it on the TV side, radio side. Bryson, of course, won the 20 and 24 U.S. Open. He won 9 times in the PGA Tour, 2 times on LIV. He has 8 starts in the Masters with 2 top 25s, 1 top 10. Last year, he was tied for 6. 2025 true strokes gained total. He's 5th on LIV at plus 1.59. There's nothing wrong with that.
You have to read the rest of the profile, Matt.
2025 true strokes gained putting. 34th on LIV, which is a little bit deceptive because it's not the same relative gauge.
No, it's not deceptive at all. It's bad.
That's what I'm saying.
He's
34th.
negative strokes gained,
right.
and there's only like 50 guys that are even ranked.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
It's bad. It's very bad is what it is.
For putting. So his putting is
Yeah, but he also, look at his Masters numbers. They're crap.
last
They're
4
both
Masters
negative.
true strokes gained total negative 0.325. Last 4 Masters strokes gained putting negative 0.06. That's almost break even. Come on. Trend table, true strokes gained versus baseline, negative 0.29 last 20 rounds. And the pressure tool, true strokes gained, negative 0.30.
He's one of the few guys I did a profile on who is negative under pressure because I'm looking at mostly the top-tier guys, the guys that have the best odds at the Masters. And he is currently, this year, playing bad under pressure.
I like him.
He's also
though.
playing
I still like,
bad
I
right
like
now,
Bryson because I think
and he's also putting bad at the Masters, and he's putting bad on the LIV Tour.
I think I like
he's
him.
playing bad.
I like him. I just like him because I think he has tools that the others don't have. So let me ask you this way.
You're like a Duke fan.
There
You're
we
like,
go.
I just like him.
Yeah. Well, here's the question.
It's going to work out, I promise.
No, here's the thing. It didn't work out, though. The Gators. Congratulations, Gators. My wife is a Gator. Andrew, go to camera 1 for a second. This is Donna's right here. This is my wife's. Congratulations, Donna. She won the Masters Par 3 competition for the women's division right there. Congratulations to her. Congratulations to the Gator. She's a Gator. So here's the question, Dom. And this is based on the way that you gave us the. You didn't do it it was indiscriminate. You just were doing, here's the players
I had no agenda.
that did it.
I looked at
but
the
there's
players
2 of them
that were.
Yeah, I know. I got it. But there's 2 of them next to each other. Ludvig Aberg and Bryson DeChambeau. Ludvig. He's won a couple times on the PGA Tour. He's won on the European Tour. He has that 1 Master start last year. He's runner-up.
Andrew, put Ludwig stuff up. We have that.
Right? 2025 true strokes gained total. He's 30th, positive 1.08. 2025 true strokes gained putting, negative 0.02. He's 105th. Last Masters, because he only has 1. True strokes gained total, plus 4.11. Last Masters, true strokes gained putting, positive 2.08. Trend table versus baseline, last 20 rounds, negative 0.21. Pressure to true strokes gained, plus 2.7, which is very impressive. But here's my question. You can only pick one. Ludvig or Bryson at the 2025 Masters, who's going to finish higher on the leaderboard? Come on, Dom. Who you got?
You're asking me?
I'm asking you.
Ludvig will finish higher. I would say that's a definitive statement.
I'm not going that way. I'm taking Bryson.
Luckily, this isn't on the record anywhere.
Oh no, it's right here. It's going to exist forever in the digital space. There'll be aliens watching this thousands of years from now, going, "Oh, what idiots these guys are."
All right, let me.
I'm going Bryson.
Bryson, fine. You're wrong. It's all on tape. It's gonna be. We'll see.
Tape.
Yeah, whatever. It's all live. The question of the day yesterday was who's going to win the Masters, and that's also the question today. So we're going to see what's changed. Yesterday, the audience said 18% Scotty Scheffler, 27% Roy McIlroy, 9% said Collin Morikawa, and 46% said the other. They took the field, and they listed a lot of other names in there, and I will go through that in a little bit. I actually kept some of those.
All right.
Thank you, Andrew, for that. Today, same list. Who will win?
Yes.
Scotty's at 16%, similar percentage. Rory's at 28%.
Rory went up,
similar
Scotty went
percentage.
down. Got it.
Yeah. Morikawa's at 0 right now.
Wow.
0 votes for Collin Morikawa.
Wow.
Andrew, put Collin Morikawa's stats up. He was one of only 3 guys that was positive in all the categories, folks.
Collin Morikawa, 2-time major champion, 6 PGA Tour wins, 4 European Tour wins, 5 Masters starts with 3 top 10s and a tie for third last year. True strokes gained total 2025 second at positive 2.91. That's almost 3 strokes per round. 2025 true strokes gained putting. This is Collin Morikawa we're talking about. Positive 0.33. That ranks him 46th. Last 4 Masters true strokes gained total 2.80 positive, almost 3 again. Last 4 Masters true strokes gained putting positive 0.48. Trend table true strokes gained baseline plus 0.69. Pressure tool true strokes gained positive 2.4. That is very, very impressive.
Again, he was one of the ones that surprised me when I did it.
How good he was.
I was like, wow, he is.
Yeah, you've always
he
been
is
very
pretty much-
anti-Collin Morikawa.
I wouldn't say that, but I would say he surprised me. We've got Bob right in. He says Ludvig's going to win. He's the guy for sure. We've got folks saying
I don't know how he's
Patrick
going to win
Reed
if he
is an
finishes
excellent
behind
bet
Bryson. Who?
because Patrick Reed is a great bet because his odds are crap. It's very hard to go past Scotty and Rory, but I think Bryson and Sergio are in good form.
Bryson.
And Derek Rice. Someone else, another vote for Bryson. They're looking at these stats. A couple votes for Sergio Garcia. Interesting. I didn't do a profile on him, but he is playing pretty well right now.
Yeah, recent win.
On
Yep.
the Live Tour. Now, I got at least 3 people writing in saying Joaquin Neman. Joaquin Neman is not listed on those world rankings that I put there,
Yep.
but he is 11th. He's the next guy in line right now.
And what are his
He's
odds?
11th. His odds are, Andrew, let's see what yours says. Let's see if it's changed.
Because remember, the
But,
odds in our graphic are coming into the week, which is basically yesterday, so it's not like it's aged bread. But
Joaquin Neiman's 30-1. He is still 30-1. So Joaquin's at 30-1 right now, for better or worse, depending on how you look at it. Now, we actually have had someone write in today, which is interesting because I did do a profile on him. Russell Henley.
yeah.
Andrew, can you put Russell Henley's graphic up? I'd like Matt to read through that. Because, again, here's another one that is pretty surprising, Matt. He's the 4th player of all of, like, the 16 profiles that's positive in everything.
He's calling you right now. No, that's Collin Morikawa. Like, what the hell? No, it was Morikawa. Oh, you don't think I can
All right,
do
go
it?
ahead, read that.
You don't think I can do it? You've been against me the whole time. All right, Russell Henley, 5 PGA Tour wins, 8 Master starts with 4 top 25s and 1 top 5, mind you. 2025 true strokes gained total plus 2.04. He's 4th. 2025 true strokes gained putting plus 0.62, 14th. Last 3 Masters true strokes gained total plus 1.69. That's huge. Last 3 Masters true strokes gained putting plus 0.56. That's over half a stroke a round. Trend table true strokes gained versus baseline plus 0.59. Hello. Pressure tool true strokes gained plus 1.7 entering the final round of 2025. Yeah, that's impressive. That's very, very impressive.
But here's the problem. Is this a problem? Here's the question. He is almost outside the top 100 in total driving. He is not long. He is unequivocally short.
What is he?
Is
What
that
is
a
he in
problem?
total driving?
In total driving, he's like 90-something on tour. His accuracy is obviously great. He's probably top 20, top 15 in accuracy. But my question is he long enough? Is that a big enough problem because since they've lengthened the course over 20 years? When you look at all those stats and it's positive everything, he's playing great and his odds are decent. He's obviously in great form. But if he's 15 yards shorter than everybody else coming into all the holes, is that enough to be such a big problem at Augusta?
Well, given
it can't be overcome.
Given his performance and recent performance, I mean, you got to remember that these numbers that we're looking at for 2025, you're coming into the Florida stretch where Bay Hill's a monster. The Players is a monster. I'm talking about length and the demands there. So there's gonna be courses that he's played already this year that he's obviously doing very well on. So yeah, I would say length is always an asset, full stop. But can he overcome it because of his ball striking right now and his putting is good? 14th true strokes gain. How come the Tour doesn't use these true strokes gain numbers from the Data Golf guys, by the way? It seems like these numbers are more comprehensive.
They are. I obviously I can't answer that. I mean, I'm sure there's proprietary stuff across the board on both sides. Everybody's worried about this, that, and the other. But since I've discovered it, I'm all about some of these. I love the trend table. I love the trend table. It's really cool to have pressure stats and to have trend table where you can look at a player and see who is, like, literally statistically, who is playing the best golf right now, period. And you can see there on the graphic, Andrew put back up, Daniel Berger is literally playing the best in the world right now versus what you would anticipate he would be doing.
Yeah.
A shot and a half. That's crazy.
Yeah, but
he's hot. He's on fire right now.
Yeah, but wins are what define, to me, who's playing the best, with all due respect. So
Minwoo Lee just won.
So
but he's playing. He doesn't have a major. He doesn't have a pile of wins.
But what I think you're telling us with what Daniel's doing, and no disrespect to Daniel, because his odds are good and he's worth a look. But what I'm saying is he's playing the most consistently good golf. But consistently good golf isn't as good as the flash of greatness that causes you to cross the line to victory. And ultimately, that's what you're going to be judged by. Nobody's going to look back at 50 years and go, yeah, he was the best trend line player for the entire season. Oh, how many times did he win? Oh, he didn't. If he starts winning,
Andrew, put the odds up one more time for Matt, please.
Your old moldy bread odds?
Yeah, right. It hasn't changed really at all. But you look at this list,
Except
Matt.
for Minwoo Lee. Didn't he go to 50-1? Who went to 50-1?
Remember my question of the day, Matt. Scotty, Rory, Collin, or the field? If I group Scotty, Rory, and Collin together, and it's one of those, any of those three versus the field right now.
Yeah.
Who do you take?
I'd take Scotty, Rory, and Collin.
So you think odds are one of them will win versus the field?
Well, you got Scotty, who's won 2 out of the last 3, right? You got Collin, who finished
playing great right now.
I'm telling you, I saw something at the Houston Open, so I'm going on the eye test. 2 strokes, true strokes eyes, which is a stat I heard they're working on. And you've got Rory that's playing coming in, I think, the best golf of his career. And you've got Collin, who's an absolutely brilliant ball striker, who's hanging in there with his putting. As I've said a million times, he's a guy that if he gets to somewhere around 30th with his putting, if my memory serves me, I got to go back and look at it. On your chart, he's, I think, 46th. Does that sound right? I'll find it. Thanks for the help, Dom. Yeah, he's 46.
I'm just looking at these odds. I'm just fascinated by all of this.
So all I'm saying is that if he has a week where he's just a couple of putts better than his average, Collin Morikawa is going to win. So, yeah, I'm going to take those 3 over the field. And you scoff at me, so you're obviously taking the field.
I am absolutely taking the field, yeah.
Fool.
I think that I don't think Scotty Scheffler is as big a favorite as everyone thinks he is right now.
Right.
And we've talked about it ad nauseum on this show, the scar tissue surrounding Rory. I don't know where to place that. But it's pretty bunched, in my opinion. If you look at the left side of those odds, it is pretty bunched. And if you listed a bunch of these players, this is my eye test, my ear test. If you said to me on Monday morning, Brooks Koepka won, Victor Hovland won, Minwoo Lee won, Will Zalatoris won, Russell Henley won, I wouldn't be surprised by any of those names.
No, I wouldn't either. That wasn't the question.
Yeah, but to me, that's what makes it so fascinating this year. It feels like it really is pretty wide open. I feel like there's 20 guys that if they won, I'd be like, yeah, I could totally see it happening. Whereas, if you look 5 years ago, a lot of times going into the Masters, it feels like it's a 3 or 4 horse race. It's like, one of these 5 guys is probably going to win. It doesn't feel like that this year. Because you got Xander's not playing his best right now. Scotty doesn't feel like he's playing his best right now. It just feels like there's a lot of guys that could win. And I wouldn't be surprised if any of them won. I could make a list of 20 guys, and I wouldn't be surprised with any of them. That wasn't the case 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, I don't think.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's more wide open?
Yeah, I do.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
George is getting excited.